if people already use Apache Kafka before and write their Java-based producer, consumer, assume when they replace that IP to Redpanda, it just works?
Yes, that's the idea. Yes,
Okay.
you put it rightly. Yeah. We need to make sure that, Redpanda is it's a very complicated technology. We need to make sure that the users of Redpanda doesn't need to understand that. We need to make sure we convey the basic fundamental stuff without exposing them to this kind of complicated stuff.
Hi everyone, welcome to the new episode of Streaming Caffeine, and I'm now in the StarTree's Real-Time Analytics Summit, special event for everyone who are very into this real-time streaming space. And I have the special guest, my friend Dunith, that is from Redpanda. And congratulations for the recent serverless Redpanda announcement. And can you share more about that?
Thank you, Joe, and thanks for having me. Yeah. So yeah, we rolled out the serverless streaming offering, just targeting, the users who are quite new to streaming and those who are coming from small and budget constrained environment. And those people come with the need of, running experimentation with streaming data. Maybe they don't have a defined streaming real-time use case yet, but they yet to iterate while minimizing their cost. And so they need some way of a platform to do that. So that's why we launch Redpanda streaming platform, serverless platform. So that gives you like a 2-day trial.
Okay.
And that during that trial, you can taste the whole full managed and enterprise features over there. So yeah, it will give you a head start if you are a user.
Cool. Yeah, and I would say, assume many people who follow this channel know Redpanda, but if not, but what's the, say, 30-second short pitch about what is Redpanda?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So basically, it's a drop-in replacement for Apache Kafka. So that's the shortest pitch. So when I elaborate on that, so basically, you can see the fundamental construct that you would see in Kafka inside Redpanda as well. That means including topics, partitions, consumer groups, rebalancing, everything you will see in Redpanda. And that means you can seamlessly migrate your existing Kafka clients, including producers and consumers, to Redpanda without changing a single line of code.
Okay.
And just want to highlight that Redpanda is not another fork of Kafka. It's a different architecture. It's a rewrite in C++.
Okay.
And doing that, we gain more good features than Kafka, like in terms of performance, simplicity in operation, and cost efficiency, so total reduction of operational cost.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that part is very important. That is, if people already use Apache Kafka before and write their Java-based producer, consumer, assume when they replace that IP to Redpanda, it just works?
Yes, that's the idea. Yes.
Okay.
You put it rightly. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Apache Kafka is awesome for sure, right? There's a lot of people using it, very mature community, a lot of production use case, but I'm not, it's just me, but I don't think it's easy enough, right? It's great, it's powerful, but it's hard to say Apache Kafka is easy, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff to going on. You set up a JVM, you download the right version. Even the version, you have to figure out whether you have any Scala.
Right.
You may put an extra jar file if you use the Kafka Connect.
Right.
But the other thing that is, there are so many settings, right? For example, like the batch size, partition.
Right.
I'm not sure, maybe there's thousands of settings, different properties. Is Redpanda somehow make this even easier?
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. I mean, yeah, that's the one pillars we are trying to establish in the industry. So simplicity of operations. So that bring us to different avenues. Like we try to minimize the operational overhead by reducing the number of components you have to manage if you are hosting it in self-hosted or on-prem hardware setup. So basically, Redpanda has its own raft implementation for
Mhm.
quorum and these kind of coordination
Cool.
things. So
Yeah.
and then because of that, we don't rely on Apache Zookeeper.
Yeah.
That means you have less component to manage.
Mhm.
And then the nice thing about Redpanda is this single binary architecture. I think we both share with Timeplus and
Yes.
so
We also implement our own Raft by ourselves,
right,
and
right,
yeah, we also try to make the people who migrate from KSQLDB or FlankCQ easier to
right.
us. So we share a lot of similar design principles, I think. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So basically, this means once you spin up a Redpanda broker
Mhm.
process, you will get the schema registry,
Mhm.
Raft engine, the broker itself, and
Mhm.
the HTTP proxy
Mhm.
in the same runtime. That
Okay.
means you don't have to manage them separately.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about it, worry about it.
Okay.
That's one good thing about that. And there's comes, and then that's the operational simplicity.
Mhm.
Second comes the developer experience.
Yeah.
This means it's not just being a broker. So Redpanda provides it actually goes more miles beyond that. It
Mhm.
provides the end-to-end good developer experience to developers. So, but how we do that is we provide a simple place to manage your Redpanda cluster.
Mhm.
So we provide the Redpanda console. It's
Yeah.
like a interactive web-based application so that you can perform administrative operations on your Redpanda cluster. Like
Yeah, it's also my uh, I usually build a bunch of POC or demo, and I use Redpanda and
right,
also use the Redpanda console as the UI tool. It's very easy. I mean, I
yeah,
don't mind using command line, but command is so easy that you explore all the topic, you
exactly,
see the live data,
right,
you can manage connectors,
exactly,
registry,
exactly.
even security.
Yes,
Everything is out of box. Yeah.
exactly. Now the latest release has schema registry more improved. That means you can even define schema registry
Oh, nice.
schemas
Okay.
on the console itself. And it comes with RBAC, role-based
Yeah,
access.
sure. Yeah.
You can define ACLs. Yeah, so many improvements over there. Yeah, that's one aspect, and then that's for the people who prefer to work with UIs and GUIs tools.
Hmm.
But what about programmatic apps? So
Hmm.
sysadmins and SREs. So that's
Okay.
where we build the CLI called
Hmm.
RPK, the
Yes.
Panda Keeper.
Yeah.
It's like a K-cat on steroids, right?
Okay.
Kafka cat. So basically, RPK gives you the programmatic access. That means you can use it to manage Redpanda cluster from a remote location.
Okay.
Could be, could be hosted in serverless cluster, but you can manage it from your machine through RPK.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
like adding, managing topics, adding partitions, those kind of operations.
I didn't realize until you mentioned the K stand for keeper, but it's not zookeeper, right? It's more like kubectl, all those thing, right? But
Right,
maybe CTL is too long, so you guys
right.
just use the RPK to reflect you guys the obsession for the simplicity. But yeah, I agree with you that it is very nice. I use the RPK to sometimes even as a replacement for KCAT, right? So
Exactly.
there's many things you can do.
That's right. I mean, it not only Red Panda cluster you can work with RPK, you can point it to a Kafka cluster and
Yeah, because it speaks to the Kafka
Kafka
as the
protocol.
API
Exactly.
protocol. As
Yeah. And then the nice thing is we recently launched these WASM transforms, right?
mm-hmm.
You know about that. So we baked in the WASM toolchain into RPK. That means you can bootstrap a WASM transformation project from RPK
Okay.
and it will generate you a nice Go or whatever the language we support, Rust, and and then you can add your code and with several commands,
Mm-hmm.
RPK will deploy it to your Redpanda broker,
Okay.
and you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
And RPK will take care of where to route the bytecode and where to put them and those kind of things.
Okay.
So it's a intelligent fat client
Yeah, yeah.
CLI for Redpanda. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So you guys have the nice command line, uh, the nice web UI.
yes,
Even when I configure this in Docker Compose, I feel like the number of configuration item is less,
yes,
right? You guys may handle stuff like uh, broker IP or adversary IP a little more easier, like
yeah,
internal, external. There's a lot of details. I
yeah.
feel like you guys really make things easier than compared to
Exactly. Good
Apache
point.
Kafka.
Yeah. Good point you mentioned that because if you have like multiple knobs or switches to operate, then
Uh-huh.
it might get the average user confused because then you might not know which configuration setting to turn on and you don't know the optimal configuration setting. So that's why Redpanda tries to make things automated and
Mm-hmm.
Redpanda tries to derive the optimal configuration based on your machine configuration,
Okay.
hardware configuration.
Yeah.
So Redpanda can do that in much of intelligent way. That way, we don't necessarily expose too much configuration to the end user,
Okay.
and Redpanda tries to take care of it by itself.
Yeah. I guess to be compatible with existing Kafka API or protocol, maybe you guys have to support all the possible parameters, but
Yes,
you choose which one is really needed to be exposed,
exactly,
which
exactly.
one can be used default option.
That's the idea. So we can use sensible default values whenever possible,
Yeah.
and pretty much
So
these.
so
Yeah.
for self-host deploy, self-managed Redpanda, I know Docker is there, Kubernetes
Yeah,
is there. So what is the more recommended option? Is bare metal or Kubernetes or Docker Compose?
I mean, it's up to your use case. So if you are in, I mean, if you need more performance, if you want to derive more performance out of your modern hardware, and then you can go with bare metal because Redpanda is written in C++, so you can it work with really close to the hardware. That way you can gain more performance.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a boundary. It's not a limit itself. So you
Okay.
have other options like if you are in Kubernetes native,
Mm-hmm.
then you can go with Helm charts. Redpanda
Okay.
has Helm charts and these kind of things. And Docker is good for experimentation.
Yeah, but may
You
not be that high performance, right? Because
right,
there's an extra virtualization layer.
right,
Even you guys may leverage certain feature from certain Linux OS, right? As we do, like Timeplus Portion. Sorry, don't support all the
right.
OS versions. So
That's right. And then we have, yeah, like you said, for bare metal, we have the binary distributions,
sure, yeah.
deb files and macOS, those kind of things. And then um, if you are in VM world, like,
Mm-hmm.
AWS and those kind of things, we have dedicated VM images for them.
Mm-hmm.
So you can use them. So deployment is not a complicated thing because we have, these scripts, deployment automation scripts like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Now
direct.
come to the service topic, right?
Yeah,
So I guess people can always try Redpanda easily, right? As a
yes.
binary, as a Docker image, as Kubernetes deployment. Then I think you guys have this bring your own cloud for a long
Yeah,
time, and
yeah.
yeah, I pay attention to the announcement on the LinkedIn on Twitter. Almost every 2 weeks, you guys have something new.
Yeah.
I forgot what Alex mentioned recently, but so for the service launch, I guess what's the key drivers for that? I mean, what kind of customer will be really like that or have been waiting for this a long time?
Yeah, it's mostly, the customers who has a small use case, or could be they are quite new to streaming
Oh
and they
yeah.
want to try out streaming technologies without making a big commitment, upfront commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we try to reach out to them. So we need to drive awareness of the product and we need to give them a taste of Red Panda before
Mm-hmm.
they decide on their mind.
Mm-hmm.
So sign up is easy, so you can just sign up with your email address and you will give like 14-day trial to try out everything.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the people, very people, mostly small and medium businesses. Um, so they are quite early in their thing. And then the people who lacks the talent to manage this kind of deployments in-house,
Mm-hmm.
so they can also depend on serverless because it's managed under the hood. So you don't have to worry about the management aspects over there.
Okay. Then how it works briefly? Do you use share storage, object storage?
Yeah,
What's
so
the
underneath, so it's the tiered storage.
mm-hmm.
So what we do is whenever the data gets older,
Mm-hmm.
we flush the older data into cost efficient storage like S3 bucket.
Mm-hmm.
That way we can optimize the cost.
Mm-hmm.
And then we can also provide infinite storage that way.
Okay.
So yeah,
But if people set offsets say earliest, you can still read it from the object storage.
that's right.
It'll be a little bit slower, but that's how we
Yeah,
bypass the cost.
for the first time it will be a bit slower, but once then we have this caching mechanism ongoing, so
Okay.
we can make it faster for the subsequent thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But the consumer, underlying client, won't feel the difference because it doesn't know whether we are reading from the latest offset or the earliest offset
Okay.
because it's transparent to, and the consumer doesn't know where the data is coming from, whether it's coming from local disk or
Mm-hmm.
from the S3 bucket.
Okay.
So that's the goal of there. And then the good thing is Redpanda can manage the life cycle of the data resides in the local disk as well as the S3 bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier, I mean, it used to be someone has to manually purge this data in S3 buckets whenever they get old, because
Okay.
now the new with this Redpanda's unified storage model, it's Redpanda treat it as a single entity. So
Okay.
it treats the data in the local disk and the data in the storage bucket as a single entity. So you can govern them with retention policies, with the same retention policy.
Okay. But I guess you don't have to configure the retention policy on S3 itself, right? It's managed by Redpanda, right?
Redpanda.
But it's easy to set a single TTL to manage
Exactly.
those. Okay.
You got it. Yeah.
And also regarding the serverless offering, uh, is that common? People need a certain VPC network pairing so that they can use the serverless version of Redpanda within VPC as if they operate by themselves. I mean,
Yeah, so that kind of requirements come in often,
okay,
especially if you have like database in one VPC and they would like to uh, provision the Redpanda cluster in the same VPC
okay,
because of the data sovereignty issues or latency
okay.
consideration. So that way we can accommodate those kind of
Oh,
cases.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying serverless may sound sexy and easy, but
Yeah,
it's not really that straightforward to implement. There's a
yes,
lot of details,
of
right?
course.
Like
Yeah,
for
I
example,
mean,
how you isolate the data, how you do the network pairing, um, yeah, upgrade.
yeah, I mean, it's like a gateway drug to the fully managed and enterprise edition. So it's like,
Mhm,
uh, I mean, we are still in the early stage, so we
mhm,
can't deliver the optimal performance we do in fully managed in serverless because
mhm,
we are still learning and we are trying to improve every day. Um, yeah, so we try to add more features like in
mhm.
terms of improved latency, and we try to expand it to more cloud regions and cloud providers. Currently, we support AWS and GCP.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to, yeah,
I saw some announcement today on linking Azure. I'm not sure that's BYOC or serverless, but anyway, you guys are moving very fast.
right.
But it's really uh, kind of a tedious effort that is to support all the cloud vendor in new
Yes,
regions.
yes,
AWS may announce new region every quarter,
right.
so there's a lot of to manage, and there are certain they may not on the same version, right? And how
Yeah,
to sync information between them. Yeah, even I guess this morning, Kishore mentioned that is StarTree also have this new StarTree serverless.
yeah, that's right.
And the serverless is really not that easy to build because you have
Yes,
to handle. It's not just put a EC2 box as a serverless, right? It's
yeah,
not.
there's a lot to
It's a
take
lot to
care
it.
of. Yes. And yeah, I mean, since you brought up this release, so we did the 24 release coming up.
Yeah.
So basically, there are two major announcements. That is, the WASM
Hmm.
transformation is going GA with that release,
Nice.
and we did this write cache optimization.
Cool.
So now we can do latencies in the microsecond range.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so it's good for performance sensitive workloads. So it's a
Okay.
good plan. So some exciting news for you.
Nice. So
Yeah.
the version number is also like similar to ClearHouse. Maybe it's like this is the year and the
That's right.
major or the minor release
Matter,
of
yeah.
this year.
Yeah.
It's not necessary to be the month. It's
Yeah.
so 21.1, 0.2, things like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, cool. But again, sometimes people don't really care too much about the. I mean, as a consumer, they may not care about the version, right? For example, what's the version for your Google Chrome or
Yeah.
for your
That's right.
Netflix app? But for the server guy,
Yeah.
versions still mean a lot, right? I
That's
mean,
right.
how many version are behind? What's the migration path? Is that compatible or incompatible upgrades? There's a lot to worry about.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, if it is self-hosted, then yeah, I mean, there are certain considerations you need to make. But in terms of fully managed, and it's always already done for you
Cool.
out of the
Yeah.
box. Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. The serverless is more
Yeah.
like worry-free
Yes.
set and forget things.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for early adopters and experimentation. You don't have other things like, you don't have to worry about the management like version
Mhm.
upgrades, backups and everything because it is already taken care of by for you by Redpanda. So
Okay, yeah.
all you need to do is you need to flesh out your use case and figure out what you want to do with Redpanda.
Mhm.
And then whenever you feel ready to go to the next level,
Mhm.
you can go with either fully managed or BYOC or enterprise self-hosted edition. So
Cool,
that's
cool, cool.
yeah.
Yeah. So, Dunith, that before we finish this recording, we already talked about Redpanda and the serverless. I also feel like this you being I read a lot of blog as I mentioned to you, and some of the other video or interviews. You're doing a great job regarding how to explain certain things, no matter it's
Thank you.
beginner or
Yeah.
expert. I'm just curious about what's your journey in the current role. I mean, how you define yourself. I mean, people saying different title like DevRel,
Right,
Dev
right.
Educator,
Yeah.
Dev EX, or the things. And I know you have a blog about that, but
Yeah.
can you share more about that topic?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Or
So
maybe start from your journey, like how you become the Dunith
yeah.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah, then let's go back to my origin. So basically, uh, I come from Sri Lanka. So basically, I started my career as a Java developer. And then I joined a middleware company called WSO2.
Okay.
So they do this ESBs and enterprise integration and this API management.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I started there,
Mm-hmm.
then work with middleware, and then I switched to different product stream processing and big data analytics
Mm-hmm.
there. And then I did customer consulting, and then eventually ended up as a solutions architecture team.
Okay.
That
So on that part, I
yeah.
guess I'm not sure whether Christine were going to watch that. I guess you two spent a lot of time on Java before, right?
Yes,
Now
yes.
it's Panda, Serverless. Me too. I mean, the reason I mentioned someone that is the reason my nickname is Jove is try to say Java lover.
Right.
but,
Okay.
but I'm not no longer using Java too many. So
Right.
go on, please.
I think common ground for most of the enterprise developers is Java.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
all the days like J2E or
Of
those
course, Spring
servlets,
Boot,
yeah,
yeah,
it's
good
very
time.
common today, but today
Yes,
is not the only choice, Java.
that's right. I mean, right now I do Go and Python, so it's a
Mhm.
different world out there
Yeah,
compared
sure.
to 10 years back. Yeah, I mean, that was my first movement in the career. So I ended up as a solution architect, so I could oversee how this pre-sales and post-sales and everything from very high level.
Hmm.
And also that gave me a good idea about writing, how to create content and speaking to people.
Cool. Yeah.
That was a really good. Actually, WSO2 gave me a good foundation.
Hmm.
For, actually, it was like a springboard.
Hmm.
So I springboarded into DevRel. So and then I switched gears and joined DevRel
Hmm.
because I thought uh, I enjoy this rather than solution architecture.
Hmm.
And then I joined Startree. So I was there with them for like 1 year, and then I joined Redpanda,
Hmm.
and here we are. So basically,
And you now live in Greater London area.
yeah, quite far from London,
Mhm.
of course, closer to Manchester
Sure.
right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my day of life would be like content. It is always content first.
Hmm.
So we figure out, Christina and I sit down and we figure out what kind of content we can produce so that we can help developers to adapt streaming data, especially Redpanda and Kafka.
Hmm.
And then we work towards different content distribution formats. Like I do most of the written content, and Christina do lots of video content.
Hmm.
Anyway, regardless of the format we do, so we have one thing in common, that is we need to make sure that Redpanda is it's a very complicated technology.
Hmm.
We need to make sure that the users of Redpanda doesn't need to understand that.
Hmm.
They we need to make sure we convey the basic fundamental stuff
Hmm.
without exposing them to this kind of complicated stuff.
Hmm.
So that's the educational value we try to come up with. So that's why it's like articulating
Hmm.
the complicated stuff into uh, day-to-day developers. Not every developers is made equal, right? Some are familiar with distributed system, but some developers, they just know Python, and they know basic data engineering stuff. So we need to make sure that our content caters to all these types of developers.
Hmm.
So that's our number one job. And then I represent Redpanda in different events like this today. So yeah, so it's been, and also I
Yeah,
get
making sure you have the swag with
swag. Yeah,
Redpanda.
yes,
Yeah, you guys have a very cute logo on the swag for sure.
right.
But how you guys decide what kind of content to produce, and then the other thing is how to measure you are working on the right direction. I mean, there's a lot of KPIs, like the number of views, the followers,
Right.
or documentation read. So,
Yes.
but some of them can be indirectional and may not be a good KPI if you are working too
Yeah.
hard on that.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about it. I mean, there are some things in DevRel that we cannot measure. Like, I
Mhm,
mean, we can't exactly measure. So, for example, if I speak in this event, I don't really know how many leads I will get out of this
mhm,
because it's really hard to measure.
yeah,
But if I write a blog and publish in my Redpanda blog or
mhm,
even in personal blog, I know the uh, because there are tracking mechanism. Because the
mhm,
nice thing about in Redpanda content is so everything is tracked from
mhm,
end to end.
yeah,
So whatever the content piece we produce,
mhm,
it is tracked. So it's tracked. So we can measure how much of contribution or attribution that it makes to the overall growth of the product.
mhm,
So, but based on those metrics, we can decide whether should we prioritize certain areas or should we drop some kind of topics from our
mhm.
thing. So it's always data driven. So yeah, that's how we do. I mean, every content platform we do is instrumented.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But okay, we moved to the other room, so that's why you see the different background. Streaming is really a very interesting space, and
yeah,
people have a strong need to get more real-time insight,
that's right.
get rid of this the pipeline for batch, all those things. So there's a strong need, but also people uh, coming from different background,
Yeah,
right? They know different things, and they might ask for different things. That's the reason why maybe it's not so easy to get started with streaming processing. But
yeah,
I'm so glad, for example, Redpanda really make the Kafka itself so easy to use,
right,
and also all those service offering. Company like Timeplus also try to empower developers just using CQ to process data in Kafka without
right,
learning, say, Apache Flink or Kafka Spark API.
right.
But it's still a long way to go, right? And
Exactly. I mean, stream processing is naturally really difficult. I mean, so it's a difficult thing. I think in the meantime, we need to, I think the messaging about stream processing, the benefits you will get from stream processing that needs to be amplified among
mhm,
the business and operations because so there are some certain misconceptions about streaming because someone say it's expensive,
mhm,
it is true, but there are certain ways to mitigate those kind of things like, fully managed and those kind of offerings. So there are there's always a plan to mitigate that.
mhm,
And also, some people say it's complicated. Of course, yes, stream processing. There are a lot more things to consider, like out of order events, exactly once, at least one, those kind of things. Um, yeah, there are ways to deal with those kind of things. And yeah, I mean, but the majority, I mean, the major goal of a business is either to bring additional income
mhm,
or save your existing expense, reduce your expenses.
mhm,
If you use the streaming data platform tool and stream processing tool right in the correct manner,
mhm.
you will outweigh all these shortcomings of streaming data. It's like you can make it less complicated than bring it for actual income. So
Cool.
that's
Yeah, we're
yeah,
looking forward to that. The market get more mature, and
yeah,
we work together to make the concept or best practice more obvious, and
exactly.
overall needed to lower the barrier so people don't have to learn too many new things. Yeah, as if you like Redpanda to as the alternative to Apache Kafka, so maybe you can also try Timeplus. We are really good alternative to KSQLDB and Apache Flink. And again, there's a good reason for you to choose different things together. But if you really wanted to get hands dirty regarding stream processing, you don't have to set up a big cluster. You can try the serverless version of Redpanda. You can try the SQL version, open source version of Timeplus. and ask questions in the community. I guess overall the community is very friendly and helpful, right? And we really want to make this work for you and make this things easier to get started. So any feedback will be welcome.
Yeah, and just to mention that if you are interested in integrating Timeplus with serverless Redpanda, so there's a video you can check in. You can maybe drop the video
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, down below.
link in the description. So you can find it in Redpanda channel. So like that thing. So it's very easy. Set up a topic in Redpanda and get your data into Timeplus and do some kind of processing, something like building a dashboard or doing some kind of into microservice. It's really easy. It won't take you hours of doing those kind of things. I think
you don't have to write any line of code.
Exactly. It's standard SQL. It's declarative. That means you tell Timeplus what needs to be done instead of telling it how it needs to be done. I think we need to work on the spreading the word about streaming and the benefits of stream processing towards, and we need to also get rid of these misconceptions about streaming data, like being complicated and being expensive. And there are a few other markets I think also we can tap. I mean, it's not only about streaming data. It could be something like developers coming from web and mobile devices. Maybe they want to add a real-time feature to their application, real in-app chat or something like that. Or maybe game developers want to add a chat channel or something like a what do you call it? Dirty word removing some kind of thing.
Sure, yeah.
So there we can definitely step in and Redpanda and Timeplus. We'll serve these use cases together and help it. And thanks for having me. Had a good time.
It's my pleasure. I mean, we spent a lot of time on the linking. I enjoy all your posts.
Yeah.
And you guys at Redpanda are doing amazing, great job. And hopefully that is more people will not be afraid to get hands on data of the streaming and give us feedback, share use case, and let's make this streaming really a happy thing to do, not something very difficult, annoying thing.
Right.
Okay, thanks so much. And thank you for watching this episode and see you in the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.